Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is reshaping your experience and the power that we have right between our ears to elevate ourselves and our experience. It's really remarkable, and we get to talk about that today. So before we get started, let's just take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen just flooding your lungs and flowing into your bloodstream and nourishing every cell, every organ, bringing vital life energy throughout your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any negativity, any fatigue, any tension or stress. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And this time, imagine brilliant bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating and electrifying and energizing every molecule, every electron, lighting your cells up and radiating out beyond you into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any stress, any tension, any fatigue, negativity. And now let's just gently press our palms together and really softly rub your fingers against your palms so that you can feel that wonderful, wonderful sensation. Allow yourself to be present to it and how delicious it is. And bring yourselves present right here, right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a new week. It happens so fast. I don't know about for you, but the weeks are flying by over here. It's like a crazy time warp or something. Anyway, good morning, Irma. Welcome. Happy Monday to you. And hello and welcome, Robert. Happy Monday to you too. Great to have you guys here and great to have everybody here who's joining us. We're talking about reshaping our experience, and this is based on my experience. I haven't been sleeping very well over the past few nights. Saturday night, I was up all night, and last night I had maybe 3.5 hours sleep. And so I noticed when I was waking up this morning that I started telling myself, oh, happy moon day. I love that. I was telling myself, thank you for that, Robert. Oh, I'm so exhausted. And I caught myself telling myself that. And I said, no, I'm not going to be exhausted. I'm going to be energized and revitalized and awake and alert and energized. And so I did have the luxury of an hour to be able to spend repatterning myself and shifting my attitude and my physiology to be able to be energized and alive. And so what did I do to do that? I literally envisioned light flowing through me and electrifying and energizing every cell. And I imagined these this energy just coursing through my body and finding the places of fatigue and focusing energy into those places. Robert says, yesterday morning when I woke up, I felt just like that. I wanted to go back to sleep. I was too tired. Yes, so I know what it is like to feel too tired. And I I also noticed that I started with that conversation like, well, I only had so much sleep, so therefore I'm tired. And I saw that I was having this conversation of being exhausted and had a moment of seeing what my day would look like if I persisted in being exhausted, and I made a different choice. And so the choice that I made, given that I have things to do today, that require my being awake and alert, I made a different choice. And good morning, Dennis. Welcome, welcome. We're talking about shaping our experience and the possibilities of elevating ourselves into a greater sense of awareness and functioning. Happy napping day. Yeah, you know, it might end up being a napping day. Um, but the thing is that when we notice our conversation, and this is, you know, this is something that we talk about over and over and over again, but it's one of those things that I don't think you can talk about enough, is that we have the ability, based on the conversation, based on what we're telling ourselves, to truly shift our experience. Now, there are times when it's super valuable to acknowledge what's there when we're experiencing an emotion, to experience it and feel it and allow it to move. And so there are other times when we also get to recreate our experience, and then there are combinations of the two. So Robert says, oh, definitely, I'm falling asleep right now. I hope it's not because I'm boring you to death, Robert. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So what I you might try this if you're exhausted as well, is to just start dancing. I mean, and even if you're not physically dancing, to imagine in your head dancing around. I mean, I imagined all this energy just surging through me, and bringing all kinds of energy in. And Dennis says, stay with us, Robert, you can do it. Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, I woke up, when I finally did get up, feeling a lot more energized. Like I'm aware of, you know, I'm aware of some of the physiological experience of being tired, but my energy is high. So isn't that an interesting thing? Robert says, yes, I need some fresh, cool air to wake me up. So I hope you're not saying, yes, it is because I'm boring you to death, Robert. Just give me the little reassurance here. Anyway, so one of the things that we can do to energize ourselves is actually do movement. You know, so doing movement. Maggie and I were dancing in front of the mirror today. And so Robert says, so I'll pop my head out the window. If you popped your head out of the window here, you would be in for a shock. I think it's like 27 degrees right now. So never boring, Robert says. Thank you for the reassurance. I appreciate that. And your coffee fix. Well, so I don't drink coffee as a rule. Today might be a good day to have a cup, though, perhaps. Anyway, how can we shift our energy? And one of the ways I find really effective, actually, is to and Robert says that would wake me up instantly, the coffee fix recommended by Dennis. One of the ways that I find is to actually visualize energy flowing through my body. And I know that the symptoms of fatigue kind of are in the back portion of my head and behind my eyes and in my eyes. Here comes a yawn. Ooh. So my body's saying, I'm not entirely convinced you're not tired, but part of my, you know, my psyche is. So what we can do is focus our attention where those symptoms, those physical symptoms are of being tired, and flow energy through there. You know, flow the cold breeze through there, flow some light through there, and see what happens. Just, you know, if you take a minute, and I'm thinking you could close your eyes, you'll get into a little bit of an altered state. Hopefully you won't fall completely asleep, and hopefully you're not driving. Don't do this if you're driving. Good morning, Rosalind. We're talking about shifting our experience by conscious, deliberate attention. Robert says, when I was a heavy smoker, I used to drink at least 2 liters of coffee a day and smoke 3 to 4 packs of cigarettes. Wow. I'm glad you're still here to tell the tale, Robert. And I'm glad that you spoke that in past tense. Coffee, I know coffee is a pretty intense addiction, actually. And it, it, uh, it makes it so that your body really becomes reliant on it. My mom, I remember growing up, my mom was like, "Don't talk to me. I haven't had my coffee yet," and that was actually serious. That's how it was. And to this day, she's a coffee drinker. She is 90, which is amazing, and so. And she's still taking herself shopping into the beauty parlor and such. So who knows, maybe coffee's her secret. But in any case, um, we do have a lot more control over our beingness than we give ourselves credit for. And like being at the effect of circumstance, or um, being supernatural, being the gods in the flesh that we are, we really do have a lot more um, sovereignty, a lot more control over our experience than we generally exercise. And I know that that's something that I fall or that I often don't exercise as fully as I could. And Robert says, yeah, now I drink like a liter a day of coffee. Same here. First thing in the morning, coffee. I'm extremely grumpy if I don't have my coffee in peace. And refilling the coffee pot now. Good morning, Tammy. Welcome. We're talking about shaping our experience and deliberately applying our attention and intention toward creating a state that we desire, and and rather than being at the effect of circumstance. And Robert says, you can tell I'm tired. I usually talk too much when I'm tired. Oh, that's funny, Robert. Anyway, yeah, let's look at what kinds of things can we do to shape our experience, because we are doing that all the time. And I realized that the point of this is that when I woke up first this morning, I noticed that I was telling myself the story of I'm so tired, and just saying those words, you can feel your body getting heavier and you can feel the weight of that. And instead of that, which would have shaped a rather miserable day for me, I think, I elected instead to find energy and elevate myself. And what I noticed is that when I did get out of bed, I got out of bed with energy. And I probably will sleep quite well tonight. And who knows, maybe I'll take a nap. But the thing is, I have energy. And having that energy is really um, a result of real deliberate, conscious, focused intention. And you could say programming of myself to say, okay, let's feel all that energy moving through. Let's start cycling it through, because we are energy. And given that we're energy, it makes sense that we have the ability to direct that energy, right? So how often do we put ourselves in a state by saying, I'm so depressed, I'm so miserable, I'm so tired, I'm so this, I'm so that, instead of, I feel good, na 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 na. That's what Maggie and I were dancing to this morning, and just what you can, how you can shift your state of being, right? And in this case, it was driven by some degree of necessity for me, in that I have a big, a busy day ahead, and I want to be able to be there fully in attendance for my clients, and um, the other commitments that I have. So I could either be slogging through that, or I could be dancing my way through, right? And you guys, we all have that option. And yeah, it takes some attention and effort, but doesn't it take effort to slog through the day as well, right? So, um, I'm not going to keep reading them anymore, Robert. We're getting more commentary on coffee. So, anyway, what is available to us in shaping our experience? How can we do this? What do we do to do this? Well, there are a number of ways that we shape our experience. One is by the stories we tell. And we can call this time in the morning, it's story time, right? Because we talk about this so much, that the stories we tell ourselves enhance the experience that we're having, or they diminish the experience that we're having by the stories we tell. And so one of the things that we talked about a while back is the bully in the brain that is telling us all these terrible things about ourselves, or reinforcing our own negative perceptions. And we have the capacity to be cultivating our own hero instead. Yeah, so Robert says that's a great song to wake up with. Yes, I think so. Because as you do that, you have to go, I feel good, na 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 na. And you can't feel bad when you make yourself dance and be silly, right? So why not do it? Because what's the downside? None. There is no downside. You just feel better. So that's one of our new dances. We do. I don't know if she'll do it. Let's see. Dancing bird, Maggie. Dancing bird. Dancing. I feel good. Na 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 na. Nope, she's not doing it. I got her all danced out this morning, but she bops up and down, and she likes to dance. Maybe not on camera. Um, anyway, so why not opt to feel good, right? It's sometimes, now I know that sometimes that seems like an impossibility when we're deep in depression. um, it's a huge challenge to get to the I feel good place, um, or it can be. But sometimes you can have an anchor. We can talk a little bit about anchoring. Um, an anchor is something that is a designed trigger. It's not always designed. When we say we get triggered, it's because there's been something that has anchored and a reaction or an experience. So we can be generating this feel good place and anchor it some with the song, for instance, like I feel good. And so when that's an anchor and you're feeling good and you're doing that and you're feeling better and you do it more and you're feeling even better and you do it even more, then that becomes an anchor. So when you're not feeling good, you can shift state. Oops, I snapped and Maggie freaked out. Maggie, come here, baby. Come on. Now anyway, so that's how anchoring works. It also works for negative stuff too. So what happens is typically we anchor ourselves to real negative stuff, and we don't even know that we've done it. So Robert says yes, and that reminds me, in the UK, instead of saying how are you, they say you all right, and that instantly boosts your mood, no matter how you feel. Actually, you all right, are that's pretty cool. That's a neat idea. Instead of how are you, which makes you go in and check and say, well, how really am I? We can anchor in, I am all right. And how you say it is also going to shift your experience of it, right? So instead of you all right, you all right. It's a whole different experience. So there are so many simple tools that we have to be able to shift our experience of the moment. And um, there I think that certainly, like, from feeling tired to being energized and excited, or anticipating good stuff, or that's an easier flow than going from a place where we start out by saying, I'm exhausted, I'm so tired, rah 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 rah. There's, I've been caught in those loops a lot. And the gift is when we can allow ourselves to be conscious enough to hear ourselves saying that stuff, and shift the conversation. Thank you for Kimberly says, thank you for the sharing. I'm all right, even better hearing this. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So look at how easy it can be. And I find that dancing around like a fool and singing or bopping around, movement, that really can help to shift a state. In fact, just try this for a second. You feel yourself slumped down in the chair and looking down, and feel your shoulders slump. And now sit up again and notice how it feels when you slump down. It's like all of a sudden my energy drained, right? So what happens if you sit up and and put your shoulders back and sit up straight? It's a whole different experience. I have a friend who had taught me years ago about doing the superhero stance, dun, da, da, to just put yourself in an altered state, literally to stand up like a superhero. And superheroes have to be pretty powerful and feel pretty powerful. So you may feel ridiculous, which might make you laugh, and that'll also shift your state. But to be in a superhero stance, it is shifting your whole physiology. So we are spirit in a physical form, manifesting in the world, life living through us, right? Okay. And we have this physical form that we can work with or against to create our experience. And so what harm does it do to try and play around with it and see what works for you for elevating your state, for your physiology, changing your energy, changing your state of mind, changing your emotional state. And we have the ability to lighten ourselves up at will, and to rally, to bring ourselves present. Um, Part of this, I think, is actually releasing resistance, because, and resistance is also um, believing certain things. So there's resistance. Like what I noticed this morning was I had this story going on about being tired because I only had so much sleep, and had a belief that I needed more sleep than that. And because I had the belief, then other things started coming into play, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through the day, et cetera, et cetera. And what happens if I change that around? Is I have exactly the amount of sleep that I need. And not only that, but I can gain energy and rest without having to be sleeping. And Maggie, stop biting. No biting. And Kimberly says, gratitude. Attitude is your gratitude. And gratitude is your attitude, right? Both. And so thank you for that, Kimberly. So, I think that we really truly do get to shift our state of being, or add the ability to do that to our skill set, our toolbox, to be able to direct our lives more deliberately and consciously. Now, the thing is that there are times where I'm tired and I just don't want to, or I'm feeling however I'm feeling, and I don't particularly want to take the energy to change it. And so I don't, but to remember, like this morning, it was a gift to be able to remember that I can, and that I have the ability to change it. And I did change it because I guess because the pain of not changing it would have been much greater than spending the concentrated effort or intention to shift it. So when we're shaping our experience, it's always a trade-off, right? We get to decide, is it better to concentrate my attention to make the shift, or is it better to just let myself be as where I am? It's always a dance. It's always a dance. And I notice that the way that we start our day is a really, really critical thing. And in the morning, so many of us tell ourselves not the most empowering stories about our day or our night, for that matter, right? And we set ourselves up for an experience that we don't necessarily even consciously realize we're creating. And as a result, we end up programming ourselves for a not optimal day, where we do have the ability to take those moments in the morning when we're semi-conscious to shape our day, envision the magic and wonder that we can experience during that time, and project that forward. We do have the ability to do that. Robert says, I just remembered a thing I used to do when I was feeling tired, like an exercise. I would massage the nose from between the eyes to the tip. So that's this, I'm guessing. It feels good. I like that. I like that, Robert. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. And I'm breathing more freely too. That's awesome. And after that, massaging the temples. Don't know if that's the correct term. The sides of the head, these are the temples. And that also feels good. Oh, I like that too. Well, Robert, thank you for that. I hope everybody else tries it. It feels really good. I know I'm feeling some tension release in my temples that I wasn't even aware was there. And my eyes feel different as a result. So thank you for that. That's awesome. Anyway, the thing that we start our day with helps to shape our day. So let's be maybe more deliberate about it. Notice the words that are going through your head as you're waking up, not like, oh, is it time to get up already? But I remember a quote from a little kid who would bound out of bed in the morning saying, "Yay, it's today." And I think that there probably are a lot fewer adults who do that, but maybe that's a great exercise to, or great um, practice to cultivate. Yay, it's today. How can you be unhappy when you're saying, "Yay, it's today"? And then from "Yay, it's today," what kind of day can I create? Right. So there's a lot that we can do to lighten and brighten our experience when we remember and we take the will to do it, realizing that there's no, there's not more merit in being unhappy than there is in being happy, or being tired than energized. Like we get to be creating our experience. And I know that a lot of us get stuck and unhappy or angry or frustrated or insecure or anxious. I know all of that, and I'm offering this as maybe a little bit of an antidote to some of that, right? That in any given moment, maybe you're just feeling so overwhelmed that it doesn't even occur to you to try something crazy like this, or jumping around or dancing around and singing, and um, it will shift your state, even if it shifts your state just a little to make life more bearable for the moment. And from that place of having life be more bearable, then who knows where you can go from there. Sometimes it's a movement in increments, and we do have tools to help us move in increments too. So it's not an expectation to say you're going to move from being bereft and anxious to being jubilant, but we can shift by degrees. And as we shift by degree, it makes the next shift easier. Kimberly says, I say it's a beautiful day. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's a wonderful way to wake up. It's a beautiful day. Uh, you know, um, I've known a bunch of people who say, I'm on the right side of the ground, so therefore it's a beautiful day. You know, um, the idea is that we do have power beyond our awareness, as beings shaping our experience of life in this context, on this planet, in this world. And uh, we just, when we remember, we get to take a more active role, and we can be playful with that, and allow ourselves more ease. And so I hope that you will play today. Give yourself a little bit of playing, even if it is with the song "I Feel Good." Na 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 na. That's it. That always, it works for me. What can I say? I can't not smile when I do that. And maybe you'll find one of those things for yourselves that support you in feeling better and creating an anchor for that. that can help to lift you. Right, right. So Robert says, write as in write with a pen, right? Like in correct. So writing does wonders for lots of people that can shift us out of experience. Sometimes we dig ourselves deeper, sometimes we shift ourselves out. And we do get to choose our conversation. And so I think it's an interesting balance uh, to find between shifting your experience and your conversation to denial. We don't want to be in denial. We can say, okay, I'm noticing that this is how I feel. And then we can say, and I choose to feel different if we do. So Rosalind says, thank you for the Monday musings. Yes, Mira and Maggie's Monday musings. I should say Maggie and Mira's Monday musings, right? Anyway, thank you for being here with me and sharing coffee, Robert. And I hope that you're all finding a way to greater energy just by finding some triggers that can lighten you up and brighten you up. And of course, breath, like the breath of fire is another energizing tool. And we have so many tools at our disposal that we often just don't use. And so let's enjoy and bring lots of energy. And I just want to say thank you again to all of you. And I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live each weekday morning here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page. Please check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Lots of love.